Hey, so if you just watched deck profile and you watched the combo video, this is the more in-depth look at Gladiator Beast. So we are looking at this deck, and we're going to kind of look at it in just threes. So I'm going to put everything down here. So first we got Vespasius, Augustus, and Noxious. So we are playing exactly 3 of the bigger level 5 or higher monsters. Why are we doing that? Well, we're playing Vespasius as a target to send off of Noxious. So your main combo is Gistel, Special Summon Adderix. So if you don't know what this card does, Gistel, you can reveal this card and another Glad Beast in your hand, Special Summon this and the other Glad Beast monster. This monster allows you to mill from deck to grave, which is going to be this guy. And this allows you to search a Gladiator card, which is going to be the Gladiator Beast Comeback. Okay? So I'm just kind of going to explain the deck a little more in depth, get to the end board, and then in the combo video, we'll go, if you've seen the combo video, that will explain more of the combos. This is just the explanation of what we're doing. So 3 Gistel, it's not a normal summon. Obviously, it's a special summon, but it's like your best starter. I guess, yeah, it's a starter. It's not a... Normal summons don't have to be starters and vice versa. Adderix at 3, and I think that the numbers are perfect for you to play Adderix at 3 and then Noxious at 1. I've tried Noxious because Noxious is just a level 5 Adderix. It does the same exact thing. When it's special summon, it mills. So this one takes the level. This one doesn't take the level, which is good because there are certain times where you want to have a level 5. But this card is pretty decent. 1 Bestiari, 1 Darius, and 1 Equest. Equest is just part of your combo. Darius is there if you need to revive something. And Bestiari is there to pop back row. Honestly, Equest is the best out of these 3. And I don't really see any need to raise the number of it. But I would say if you wanted to, you could cut these and raise Equest to 3. Or if you find other Glad Beasts to be more helpful. Like, I know Sagittari, a lot of people play Sagittari. I don't like the Gladiator Beast cards that specifically say you have to discard anything that's Gladiator Beast. Like, I think Respite, you have to shuffle Gladiator Beast cards. Like, if you don't see Gladiator Beast cards, they are not helpful at all. So I like to avoid cards like that. Our new normal summon, this is Test Bear. So Test Bear allows you to normal summon it, and then you shuffle back a Gladiator Beast monster, and then you special 2 out from your deck. So this is essentially a normal summon. This is kind of like if you played the Rescue Rabbit or Rescue Cat package, I think this is kind of supposed to be the replacement for it. However, I don't think that this card is as good as it could be yet. I think that we're going to see some form of searcher for test monsters, hoping, because I think that would really tie this deck all together, getting the percentages up that we can access Test Bear. Because right now, just looking at the numbers, with Test Bear being a 3 of, we have a 32% chance to see Test Bear plus any Glad. So that means seeing 1 copy of Test Bear plus either a Glad, a way to get to a Glad, one of the searchers. We also have, for our Gistel and Adderix combo, we have a 62% chance to see Gistel plus any Glad Beast. So 62% chance to go full combo. Obviously, if we get interrupted, you get interrupted. And then Gistel plus any Glad is a 75%. So what I'm going to do is keep going through this so I can show you guys the end board. So I am on, this might be more of like a awkward take. I am on 3 Test Tiger. I like Test Tiger as just an extender because if you're, say for example, something gets ashed, okay, you have the Test Tiger in hand, you can throw it out, use Test Tiger plus another Glad, and then get into Test Panther, and then you can take the Glad that you left on board. So let me show you what I mean by this. So we start with this. We go Gistel and we go Adderix. We go Chain Link 1, Chain Link 2. Say, for example, this gets impermed, veilered, whatever, and then you can't get that search to access the thing that this just milled. So this is going to mill Vespasius. So you mill Vespasius, You special these two out, Milvis Passius. You try to search, you can't search. I'm in a tight spot. I've got this Test Panther I can play. Or sorry, I got Test Tiger I can play. I play Test Tiger, and then I take these two and make a Test Panther that way. So that's kind of why I like him still. If we got some sort of test searcher, I'd probably cut him down to 2, and I may in the near future be cutting him down to 2. I just kind of want to play this out with a lot of these 3-ofs, get some data and see, you know, do certain cards contribute to dead hands, whatever, and then move on from there. So Gladiator Rejection, this is another one that I'm probably going to cut down, but it does help you go first and second because it shuts off Valor and it shuts off Imperm. So if you don't know what Gladiator Rejection does, is your opponent cannot target Glad Beast cards you control with card effects, except during the battle phase. So if I activate this card and I go to, you know, Giselle and Adrix, they can only be ashed. I can only be drolled. I can't, no targeting hand traps. So that's kind of, it's pretty decent. Gladiator Proving Ground, it is a non-hard once per turn searcher of a level 4 or lower Glad. You run 3 of them things, no exceptions. Flavian, me personally, I know a lot of people seeing a lot of builds. A majority are on 2 to 3 of this, which is good. I'm on 3 of this plus the terraforming. So basically, I want to see Giselle and Adrix in my opening hand. If not, I want to fix my hand to try to get to Giselle and Adrix because they obviously get to the best end board, which once we get through the deck talk here, I'm going to explain what that looks like. Again, I'm on trips here, 3 Gladiator Beast comeback, because Gladiator Beasts don't really have a monster, I mean, besides Test Tiger, but we don't have an in-archetype monster that just says, hey, special this card out if you have, you know, a Glad Beast on the field. We don't have anything like that. So this is the card that helps kind of facilitate that. So I'm going to play that at 3. It's not a hard once per turn. And one thing that a lot of people forget about is that monster cannot be destroyed by battle. Since this is a battle-based deck going second, a lot of our effects get off if we attack. And if my monster if my opponent has some big bad monster on the field with a big bad effect, I can go Book of Eclipse, okay, set that monster, attack, get my effect, and kind of go from there. So I like Book of Eclipse for this deck, and I'm playing 2 Lightning Storm. The Lightning Storm is mostly for the back row because, again, if we're playing Glads, we want to utilize our battle phase. If we're going second, we want to attack, okay? But sometimes you have your opponent with, your opponent has a big monster or some sort of negate that's just going to stop you. So Lightning Storm's there for that reason. We are on the 1 Pot of Prosperity. Now, because the extra deck is pretty tight, I typically only send 3 at a time. I don't really max out on this, but it is kind of nice to just have a chance to peek at 3 cards and pick one. Called by the Grave, and then the Terraforming, and last but not least, we've got the 2 traps. So I want to talk about this real quick because I've seen some people mention, you know, we shouldn't play War Chariot, we should only play Gladiator Beast Charge, or we shouldn't play Charge, we should play War Chariot. I like having both. I like having the option. So basically, this is Dominatanus and this is Gyzerus. If we're going to be real of what they can do. This is a negate and this is a pop. Well, if my end board is leading to 2 Dominatanus, okay, and I might need that 3rd though. I also might need the pop. It really just depends on, you know, what my opponent's playing, number 1, and then number 2, you know, what utility am I going to need? So we're going to look at the extra deck. So we are playing 2 of the brand new Claudius. So Claudius, what this guy does, if you don't know, he is a fusion summon of 5 Glad Beasts. And one thing I'm going to say is I think and I wish that they would have made this Glad Beast and or test monsters. Why do we have test monsters and we can't fuse with them? We can't do anything really with them besides link away. But I feel like they should have said that this card has, this card should have said, you know, 5 Glad Beasts and or test monsters because it just makes sense. But let's see what this guy does. So 5 Glad Beasts, you can go from field or graveyard. You summon him out. He gets you a 2nd battle phase. And then when your opponent activates a monster effect, depending on whose turn it is, if it's your turn, okay, you can special summon out a Glad Beast from your extra deck. If it's during your opponent's, if it's during your turn, you could special one out from your main deck. If it's during your opponent's turn, you can special someone out from your extra deck. So overall, a pretty good card. I think the second battle phase was really, really cool. 2 Dominatanius. This is our monster negate. 3,500 beat stick, and while he's on field, you get to choose your opponent's attack targets. So if your opponents think that they're gonna somehow crash into something and try to snake you for game, you can just go no. Dominatanius says you're gonna attack. You can make him attack the 3,700 beat stick Claudius. But 2 Dominatanius, 2 Heraclinos. So this is one that you don't. The second one really doesn't come up, but this is a play Pot of Prosperity. This is, I usually send one of these. This is just your spell and trap negate. Discard 1 card. Doesn't have to be Glad. Doesn't have to be anything specific. Discard a card, negate a spell and trap. So shuts down Evenly Matched, shuts down Lightning Storm, shuts down Regeki, shuts down Cosmic Cyclone, shuts down everything except for Super Poly, Forbidden Droplet, and Dark Ruler No More. So your opponent has to be playing those specific cards in order to break your board. So we've got right here the Gladiator Beast Tamer Editor. If you don't know what this card does, it's you need 2 level 5 or higher Glads to summon it out. When this card hits the field, your opponent needs to either Nibiru you, destroy this, negate this somehow, because if you let this go, you're going to summon out Dominatanius. Okay? If your opponent lets you go, you're going to summon this guy out, you're going to go Dominatanius, and then you are going to be insulated. This card literally special summons out any Glad Beast from the extra deck, although just so that you are aware, they cannot be revived. So, like, say, for example, you go to use Gladiator Beast Comeback, or let's say, for example, you go Tamer, and I'm going to summon this guy out. Dominatanius gets destroyed. You cannot revive him, okay? But you can revive this. So our main combo is going to be abusing Gladiator Beast Comeback, abusing Tamer Editor, and then just kind of spamming a bunch of things onto the board. Gazeras, I only play the 1 Gazeras because he typically will go back to the extra deck when you're done with him, or the second one's kind of win more. It's never gonna really come up. You're gonna have the game pretty much won before that. This might be a controversial take, maybe not. But 3 Darios. So Darios is a new Link monster that basically says it's 2 monsters, including at least 1 Gladiator Beast monster. So you could play some weird like mind control build, take your opponent's monster, and then link a Glad with this, and then do shenanigans. But basically, this is a Link 2 that allows you to summon a level 4 or lower Glad Beast from your graveyard. So again, we want to be abusing stuff in this deck because a lot of it's not once per turn. We want to abuse the Revive of Equest to get the Gladiator's Beast Comeback, to get to the Tamer Editor, to just spam out some big Glads. Dragasius, you'll see whenever, if you watch the combo video, you'll see why that makes sense. But it's basically there just to kind of clear Beast Warriors off of your deck, or off of your field, so that you can special summon back the Tamer Editor. And then the 2 Test Panther. Again, the second one sometimes comes up, but you can actually use this as a Pot of Prosperity target if you feel the need to. But this is just 2 Glad monsters, and on summon it searches, and it kind of acts as a test tiger, so you can target a monster on the field, shuffle it back to deck. So guys, this is the deck, and I kind of want to show you what your typical end board is going to go for. So when you see the 62% chance, uninterrupted, end board, let me show you. So this is kind of what we're striving for. This is the goal. Does it always happen? A good bit. Because sometimes your opponent just doesn't really know what to hit, what to negate, and then once they do, it's kind of too late. So Flavian, the Colosseum, the Glad Beast, this is a monster searcher. Obviously, it says discard a card and then add a Gladiator Beast monster. When you do that, though, okay, once you special summon from the deck, in the end phase, it sets 1 of 2 traps. So here's what we do. I'm gonna set up the end board kind of how we want it, and in the correct zone. So zones are important because if your opponent summons the, relinquished anima and tries to bait a negate, you want to make sure you're in the zone, in the right zone. So I typically summon my Dominataniuses to the far left and far right. I typically go Heraclinos under the center. Editor would be in gray if you wouldn't need him. And then I typically go with the Claudius right here because... or you could even go Claudius here. That way you don't have to worry about the relinquished anima. But basically, this is your typical end board. And then, like I said, you have the 2 trap cards that you kind of, obviously, it's going to depend on what your opponent's playing. If your opponent is playing a heavy monster deck, you're going to probably want to grab the War Chariot and then just have 3 negates. And then typically with the way that this works, this board specifically, if you only use the Gistel and the Adric, so let me show you guys real quick. So this whole board, this whole board starts with these 2 cards. Okay, it's these 2 cards plus 3 cards in hand. The Flavian will eat one of those cards, so then you'll have 2 remainder. Okay, so this end board starts with these 2 cards and 3 blanks in your hand. Okay, 3 blanks. And again, check out the combo video. You'll see how all this goes. But so this is our end board, and we have a 62% chance to get there. So typically here's what I'll do. If I set War Chariot, I'll plan to go Claudius and go for the Gazeres. Okay, typically. Or you could double up and you could go Gazeres and charge, and then you have 2 monster negates, 2 spell and trap negates off of the Heraclinos, 2 pops off of this, and then because it says target face-up cards equal the number of Gladiator beast monsters with different names, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Excuse me. That would be 5 pops off of this. 2 pops. That's 7 pops, 2 monster negates, and 2 spell and trap negates. And then there's more. If your opponent does not destroy that spell and trap card, if, for example, one of your zones becomes unoccupied, okay, let's say, for example, we hold off on the Gazeres, you can use Flavian to special out a Glad Beast from your deck. So this now creates some insane advantage and really allows you to kind of just push and OTK after turn 1. So guys, I'm going to give you some numbers real quick and just explain a little bit more about what we're trying to get. This is the major end board. This is 62%. Okay, let me put this back up here. Okay, the 2 negates, and then the Gazeres. So this is you have a 62% chance to reach this end board uninterrupted. If you get interrupted, it really depends, what you get hit with, where you get hit, and then how you get hit. But this is 62%. Now, if you go with, so this is with Gistel and Adric. So if I open up Gistel and any Glad Beast, so this is Gistel plus any Glad Beast, we are going to end. Let me show you how we end. So we don't get the Gazeres on that end board. So you summon out, you get your Claudius, you get to your Dominatanius, you get to your Link, okay? The only thing you don't get on this final, on this end board, actually, I think the Link, I don't think you get the Link either because you have to use him to get to Claudius. So this is a 75% chance to reach this end board because it is simply Gistel plus any Glad. So what you're going to do is you're going to get your Heraclinos, your Dominatanius, and then when your opponent activates a monster effect, you're going to let a non-consequential one resolve so that you can summon out the second Dominatanius, and then you'll have either Charge or Chariot set, and you'll essentially have 2 monster pops, potentially 3, 2 monster negates, potentially a third one, potentially 1, 2, 3 pops, 2 spell and trap negates. So again, that's a pretty solid board. And our very last board is made with the test bear. And the difference is you just add the Darius to the top. Okay, because you'll have enough engrave and stuff to make and keep him on the board. The same thing's going to happen. You're going to summon out the second Dominatanius with Claudius. And if you see the combo video, you'll see how all 3 of these are done. This is the end board, guys. This has been an in-depth discussion. Hopefully, you guys enjoy this. But this last board, this is only 32% chance to make because we don't have a lot with tests. But I think that that's a pretty good number. You know, we have with Justel and any Glad Beast, that's 75%. Adding in the test bear adds 32%. That's like almost 100% consistency there. So guys, stay tuned for the combo video so we can really check out and see how the heck we make all this. Slifer Slacker out.